Hello everyone and welcome to the 6th round of this Midwest F1 Season 10 on a day which could have serious implications on the Division 3 Drivers' Championship with the top three separated by just 3 points. Hotspot here on the call tonight. Tonight the traveling circus heads to the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria. Beautiful 4.3 kilometer circuit which lies across the street from the Fliegerhorst Hintertoiser Military Airport. I thought I practiced that one enough, I guess not. Which has been carved into the hillside of the Styrian Mountains. This high-paced circuit features 10 corners, 3 DRS zones. Don't let the short lap times and the long straights fool you, for the racing is brilliant among the sea of the orange supporters. Fliegerhorst Hintertoiser Military Airport across the street from the Red Bull Ring. Here we are, Division 3 Hotspot on the call. So, I talk about championship implications here tonight. Let's just go over what we have to offer as far as the championship standings. Our top three, which consist of Brian Mosser in the Mercedes. This is my first trip into Division 3 this season, by the way, so it should be a fun one here. Top three consist of Brian Mosser in the Mercedes, Noganator in the McLaren, and Alex in the Aston Martin. Now, it doesn't look as if Alex is on the grid at the moment. He sits third at 224. Brian Mosser and Noganator, nothing separating the two. 227 points apiece between them. So, it would definitely believe that if one of them was to get pole, fastest lap, or driver of the day, they would certainly take the championship lead. So, this one has some serious implications at play. I am very, very excited here. Looks like Alex is trying to join the session. The PS4 has frozen for him. First out on track is going to be Demo in the Alpine here as he goes up the hill in towards turn number 3. Let's see what he has to offer here. We have 17 on the grid here. In my first trip to Division 3 this season should be a very fun one. As far as the constructor standings are concerned, as breaking news from Peter, dry quali, dry to start the race, but 70% chance of rain at the 60-minute mark, 15% chance for the first 45 minutes. So should we get ourselves a safety car or other stoppage, we might be looking at some rain towards the end of the Grand Prix. Aston Martin leads constructors 422 to Mercedes is 413. Alfa Romeo in third, 407. Ferrari has a point over Haas at 314. McLaren 288. They take up sixth. Williams at 275. AlphaTauri 179, Alpine at 164, and Red Bull at 103. Demo does have himself a qualifying ban. I did miss that initially. He's there now, doing up his qualifying ban. On board now with Not Gravity as he heads up the hill through the second corner here. That you can see the brand new chicane that's been added for the MotoGP guys, actually. In towards the third corner. Very tricky corner to get correctly because obviously it's uphill, so the braking zone comes a little faster than you'd expect. You don't want to run too wide. There's a sausage curve that'll send your car for a spin. You don't want to take the corner and hit the throttle too early. You'll spin your car. In towards turn 4, very tricky corner to get correct. You got to take the corner wide, hit it at the apex, and then be sure not to go too wide on exit because the grass does come up very quickly there through turns 5, 6, and 7. Fun little section of the track. This got to be careful of the exit curve there on turn 8. On your worn tires, that one may get difficult. Turns 9 and 10 here, take the entry wide. Don't want to use too much curve. He's done quite well there. Got to beware of exit here. And yes, I would like to say Not Gravity's actually done a very solid lap there. 104, 920. That's going to look like a very solid lap for the Aston Martin driver there, I believe. Next up behind him on a time lap, one of the AlphaTauris. It is Los Manda goes 105.644. Hammer goes third, 106.066. I believe we're going to have a Ferrari of Soy Loco, perhaps, to start one next. Yes, we do. Up the hill he goes, although it doesn't look as if he's actually turned on his energy store yet. He's still at about 100%, which will tell me that this is not the lap he's going to be going for. Only driver on the grid. Currently on the medium tires. Soy Loco, one of the drivers that does enjoy having a couple of laps here for reconnaissance on the medium tires in the qualifying session to get up to speed with the car. It does help him quite nicely. A-Dub, meanwhile, has gone second, 104.985. That puts himself within 7/10 of a second. Sorry, 7/100ths of a second. Back to Not Gravity. A-Dub, one of our F2 regulars, which, oh, by the way, F2 is coming back. We've done it. We've apparently fulfilled a full grid of F2 cars. How the hell we've done that, I do not know. hats off to Shariah Coleslaw for really doing the canvassing to get that one back up and going again. He is, I tell you what, he's done himself and the rest of the F2 grid very proud here. Very much thank you to Shariah Coleslaw for getting our F2 division back up and running. Fuse Rogue 104, 7:51. What's about a tenth and a half back to not gravity, and that is our new provisional pole time. Next across the line, I believe we have the Ferrari then. Is it Maxo? To the line there, let's see. Well, it was, but the time hasn't registered for Maxo. That's a little odd. Maybe perhaps has he invalidated, and that's been the reason for that. Not entirely sure. We got the Mercedes Anso on track as well. Looks like so far he's about two and a quarter seconds off the pace. Not his best lap, that part's for sure. It looks like the AlphaTauri of Mandigos has just gone. Actually, I believe it was that of Alvarado. Puts himself in fourth, nearly 9/10 of a second off the pace of our leaders. Top three only separated by 2.5 tenths. That's a good little spread to have here in the early goings. Once again, looking at a dry start to the race, dry qualifying session, but of course, as we get further into the race, towards the tail end, past the hour mark, we're looking at a 70% chance of rain. So any safety cars are red flags, and I believe we will have ourselves a rain race here at the Red Bull Ring. Now, once again, I believe Division 3, the only division so far to have brought themselves out a red flag. That was our opening round in Silverstone. And since then, we have not yet to see one. I don't think. Not that I know of. I mean, not that I've seen at least. I would have seen it somewhere if there was, but I haven't. So Division 3, the lone wanderers as far as that. Next up, I believe we do have an Alfa Romeo coming to the line. Is Giancarlos De Leo on his way. That's a fun one to say. He's on the medium tires. Let's see what he has here. Really heavy over the inside curb through turn one. This may already be a lap to forget for him. That was not a very good go through the Mickey Lauda corner. Austria, again, one of those tracks that you make one mistake and your qualifying attempt is pretty much over, similar to Monza in that respect. Not a lot of places to gain time if you make a mistake, and not a lot of places really to improve upon your lap. You got to get it correctly every single time, and there's a very thin line between perfection and failure at the Red Bull Ring, especially in these qualifying sessions. Not only is it a track that provides a beautiful qualifying, the race should be equally as great, so we'll have to wait and see. Giancarlos making his way through Sector 2 now. Has yet to set a time, and he has invalidated going over the curb through turn 8. Next up, I believe his teammate of A-Dub is on an out lap ahead. Let's see what he has. He's going to be starting a time lap here shortly, and he's gone over track limits out of turn 10. That may invalidate this and next, and that's exactly what it does. This lap and the next invalidated for A-Dub, so he will have to wait until this next time around to put one together here, which is not going to be helpful for him because naturally you want to get the most out of the soft tires, and that operating window obviously is going to be best once they are fresh. And so he's going to have to tiptoe his way around the circuit, and this is a fresh set of softs for him as well. So he has really screwed the pooch on that one, has to be said. But provided he can make it back around cleanly, he'll get another go here shortly. I believe we do have a Mercedes coming around the line now. It is that of Brian Mosser, one of our co-championship leaders at the moment. To the line he goes. He goes fourth, 105, 161. Moves himself within 4.5 tenths of the lead in towards the top four. Slightly off the pace, it has to be said. The top three, I don't want to say are in a league of their own at the moment, but that is a very good place to be in the top three there. And it looks like we have an AlphaTauri. It's Alvarado who spun it out coming out of turn 4. I'm not sure if he was on a timed lap or not there. I'm assuming he was, considering his battery is about 60% of the way. So Alvarado will definitely have to forget that one. He's on 4-lap-old softs as well. So I think maybe he's just trying to stretch another one. I bet you'll see him come in for another fresh set here shortly. Let's see if he does. And the answer is going to be yes. Brian Mosser will be on his way in here shortly. A-Dub now on his time lap. He's about 3/100ths of a second better through Sector 1. Down the hill through turns 4 and 5. Let's see what he has here. He does pretty well. I can't see any faults with that. Through turns 5, 6, and 7 now. Very nicely done. nearly a tenth and a half better. He's purple sector 2, but Fuse Rogue's gone 104.660. That puts a quarter of a second back to Not Gravity in second, and A-Dub nearly puts him 3.5 tenths behind. Oh, big wiggle there out of turn 9 for A-Dub. That may have hurt him. To the line he goes, the Alfa Romeo driver, but he does go second, 104.765, takes 2.5 tenths off of his previous best time, moves within a tenth of a second of provisional pole, and you have to think maybe without that wiggle out of turn 9, he probably could have given himself a fair shot at pole. John Carlos on his way to a timed lap now, still has yet to set a time as he makes his way through turn 1. Let's see how he does through the Niki Lauda corner. Does pretty well, thinks maybe he could have stretched it out wider and carried more speed, but for the moment looks okay. 16.675. I believe we've just had, we've had someone move around up there. It might have been the McLaren of Nogane who's moved himself up in the 5th. Either that or he's been pushed out. John Carlos down into 4 and 5. Yellow flag up ahead, I believe it is for the Alfa Romeo of his teammate of A-Dub ahead, who I would guess is on low fuel, 46.694. Looks to be doing okay here as he makes his way into turns 9 and 10. I think he might be on pace here for a top 10 lap. Hard to say. Looks like he... Oh, and he's invalidated. And I believe that was coming out of turn 9. And has he done in this and next? Yes, he has. Very unfortunate for John Carlos. He still has not put down a timed lap. And, well, it has to be said, he might be running out of time here. He's got 7 minutes and 15 seconds left. So he'll have to get that one sorted right quickly. Looks like Noganator. Is he on a timer now? 104.934. 2 3/4 tenths. Better than his previous best. Moves himself, yeah, within 3 tenths of a second up into the top 4. And he'll be on his cool-down lap now. I believe next we have an AlphaTauri. It is Los Mandigos making his way out of turn 9 and 10. To the line he goes. This is going to be a lap to forget, but maybe this is the timed lap for Mandigos here. Nicely done through the first corner. That's one of the better usages of the Niki Lauda corner we've seen today. Up the hill goes purple sector 1. 10th and a half better than his previous best. Oh, I think he's gotten too much on the exit curve there. You can hear the wheel spin. Oh, that may have hurt him because otherwise we were looking at a pretty solid lap there. And I think just that excess wheel spin that he had coming out of the curve of turn 3, that may have hurt him because now, well, he was looking at a much better lap. Well, I say much better. It was only a 10th and a half. That may have cost him. Line he goes. Well, he's still faster by about 2 tenths of a second. Looks like it'll move him up into 5th. No more, though. 25 1,000ths of a second behind the Mercedes of Brian Mosser for the 5th spot. Move even further up on the 3rd row. Mandigos out of the final corner. What does he have? And it is enough for 5th. 105, 153, only 3 100ths of a second faster. 8 1,000ths are better than Brian Mosser. He moves himself up into 5th. We've just had a Red Bull cross the line. I believe it was that of Hammer. P11 at the moment. We've got Gabilan. This is my first time seeing a lot of these names. I apologize, but Gab on his way now in towards turn 1 in the McLaren. Let's see what he has. Looks like he's held it pretty nicely through Niki Lauda. I just know that first corner is Niki Lauda. I wonder if there's any other corner names. I'm not quite sure. So far, it looks like he's doing quite well here. Down the hill in towards turn 4. See what he's at with the timing line here. Currently finds himself P7. And at the moment, purple sector 2, 2 tenths of a second faster as he makes his way now through turns 7 and 8. And Gab will move himself in towards 5th. 4.5 tenths of a second off the pace of the leader at the moment. However, very solid way, and we might be getting ourselves a 2 McLarens in the top 5. Meanwhile, Fuse Rogue, well, he's retired from the session, and that is well off the circuit there. I was going to say, he's got himself... Where actually has he gone off? Well, he's gone straight into the barriers over there. Maybe looking at a wheel disconnect or something, because that is quite an odd spot to go off. Well, anyways, he's got provisional pole by 10 1,000ths of a second. Alvarado has just, I think, miffed his timed lap there. He had the slide through turn 1. Soy Loco, remember how we were saying that he likes to take his time on the mediums and get his car up to snuff? Well, he's done just that. 104, 574, new provisional pole, and A-Dub moves within 10 1,000ths of a second in the Alfa Romeo. Not a lot of time left either. These might be the final runs for some drivers, but Soy Loco could have himself pole position here. I tell you what, that was A-Dub definitely doing his best, but it has to be said, Soy Loco kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, we saw him using the mediums earlier on. Again, one of the drivers that do typically like to use the mediums and get the car, you know, acclimated. And he's done just that. He's put it on provisional pole at the moment. A-Dub very close behind. What does our time say here? 2 minutes and 40 seconds. They may have enough time to get in, get on a new set of softs, and put in on a new attempt. Gab coming through the final corner now. I don't expect him to start another one here unless he is. The blinker says low fuel at the moment, but Gab's going to be coming to the line, and it looks like he might be starting another one. That will move Fuse Rogue down to third, and oh, by the way, he was, I don't want to say dominating, but he was able to stick that Williams on pole. And that may be a very hefty blow to him. Oh, and it looks like A-Dub has retired, that being in the pits. Okay. Well, I guess he said to himself he's not had enough time. Gab going through sector 2 now. Looks to have taken turn 3 pretty well. Red Bull to the line of Hammer. He's not improved. Williams of Peter up next. Doesn't look like he's improved either. Brian Mosser in the Mercedes, our championship leader, on an outlap. Remember, co-championship leaders with Noganator, and he's invalidated. He's taken too much of the initial curve there on the inside, and that will spell the end of this timed lap, and he better get it back around to the line because he's only got 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Gab coming through the final set of corners now. Oh, and he's come in. Tell you what, I think he may have had himself an offer at... well, I think it was going to be a decent lap. I don't think it was going to be a better lap necessarily, but Gab looks like he's going to settle for P6 at the moment. Mandigo's coming through the final set of corners now. 3.5 tenths off so far. Let's see if he goes again. 1 minute to go here. To the line goes Mandigos. Does not improve, but let's see if this is the time that he'll have. Subtle coming across the line now. Looks like he hasn't improved. He's slower by about 1/10. The Aston Martin of, who was that? Not Gravity. Coming up the hill now. The Red Bull of Hammer behind. Caution in sector 3. Looks like the Alfa Romeo of Jean Carlos is off somewhere. He's finally put together himself a time, although it is 2.5 seconds off the pace. Not ideal. Los Mandigos leading this charge round here. Looks like we're going to have, I believe, an Alpine coming across the line now. Is it Mediotti? It is. He's only 15. To the line after him, I think, is Maxo, and then after him is the AlphaTauri counterpart of Alvarado. Alfa Romeo of John Carlos is just going around. Los Mandigos with 10 seconds left. He's making his way through turns 9 and 10 now. Let's see if the AlphaTauri driver can do any better. Looks to be a solid lap. Time has expired. I think that was one of the cleaner exits out of the final turn we've seen, and he does not improve. 106.398. Ferrari up behind. I believe it's Maxo. He's on his way in. Haas on his way in as well. Does Hammer improve? He's invalidated. Brian Mosser. This is the question here. He's a second slower through the final sector so far. That will spell the end of the qualifying session for him. Looks like, do we have the Ferrari of Soy Loco? He is on a time lap, and he is 1.5 tenths faster so far through that second sector. It's purple as well. He doesn't need to fret. I think he's got pole position anyways. But to the line goes the Ferrari of Soy Loco. And what does he have to offer here? It's an even further provisional pole position. In fact, pole position 104.571. It will be the Ferrari on pole, unless does Giancarlo's come up with something here, and does manage to put himself in 14th, but it is the Ferrari of Soy Loco, who will take pole position for the Austrian Grand Prix here in Division 3. So here's your starting grid then for the Austrian Grand Prix. Former Division 1 driver of Soy Loco on pole. A-Dub very quick in second, less than 2/100ths of a second off Fuse Rogue. Rounding out the top 3, less than a 10th, Not Gravity. A 10th away, the top 4 all within a 10th. Noganator in 5th. Gab in 6th. It's a third row lockout for McLaren. Los Mandigos 7th. 8th is Brian Mosser. 9th is Alvarado. 10th Hammer. 11th is Subtle. 12th is Peter. 13th Anso. 14th Giancarlo. 15th Maxo. 16th Mediati. And unfortunately, Demo did have the qualifying ban, but it is a kind of mid-qualifying result there for co-championship leader of Brian Mosser. His rival counterpart of Noganator has the better track position, and we're in for one hell of a Grand Prix here. The lights turning on here. I thought the formation lap was supposed to be back, but it's not, and we're off here in Austria. And it looks like Soy Loco's gotten the better start. Oh, I think the Mercedes of Brian Mosser has not had a good one. He falls all the way back to P15, and down the hill they go, and we have a caution at the back, and it is Hammer who's gone off in Brian Mosser. What a poor start from him. Yellow flag already, and I do believe we were supposed to have the formation lap back on Noganator, and side by side with Mandigos through that first corner. Not Gravity and A-Dub, they're side by side now, heading out of turn 3. Still side by side, and on their way down in towards that treacherous fourth corner. A-Dub has the preferred line on the inside, and he will skirt past the Aston Martin. There's, we have another yellow flag towards the back. It is Gab, and it looks like Mediati making up a position over Giancarlos, as Not Gravity has it for now, round the outside of A-Dub through the 6th and 7th corner. And yes, he does. Brilliantly done there from Not Gravity to take that spot, but Fuse Rogue, does he have anything on Soy Loco here? I hate to say I've been dreadfully underprepared, but of course in this new game, I do not have the ability to see the 30-second countdown timer as a spectator, and I, in fairness, did think we were going to be back to formation laps this week. Apparently that's not the case. But up the hill, through turn 1 they go, and it looks like Fuse Rogue might have a good one here. He's gotten much better exit of the Niki Lauda corner over Soy Loco. Side by side they go. AlphaTauri off at the back. It's Alvarado, who looks to have gone around on the inside of turn 1, and Fuse Rogue has it over Soy Loco through the first corner, but I don't think he's gotten the better exit there, and Soy Loco might have an opportunity to strike back as they go down the hill. Mediums, the dominant tire throughout, and it looks like a couple drivers on the softs, only one on the hard, that being the Ferrari of Maxo. We look back at the positions gained and lost. It looks like Demo up 7, and it looks like Brian Mosser getting around Mediati there. We might touch base with them in a little bit, but for now, the battle within the top 5 quite close here. I'd like to remind you, Midwest F1 and the entirety of the Esports League brought to you by Raise Energy and Epos Audio, as we are here on the opening laps of our 6th round of the season. Looks for now, everything has quieted down on the Austrian front, as it looks like Noganator might be able to claw back within A-Dub here, as Fuse Rogue has put nearly a second and a half on Soy Loco for the first spot. Not Gravity looks to be the one pressuring Soy Loco here. DRS enabled for the Aston Martin, up the hill in towards the second corner. Does he have anything looking up the inside? The answer is going to be no, but he has certainly clawed back some time. It doesn't look as if Soy Loco's gotten the best exit out of turn 3. DRS open once again for the Aston Martin. Soy Loco's in quite the difficult position here. Demo getting up all the way into 9th already. Beautiful maneuvering from him as Peter, DRH, and Subtle exchanging pleasantries down the backstretch anyways. Check in with that. It's 1/10 of a second as these two move within nearly side by side through the 4th, 5th, and 6th corner. Behind them, it looks as if we've got a battle between, well, momentarily it was that of Anso and Maxo, but it looks like that one has sorted itself out relatively. Giancarlos in the Alfa Romeo. Oh, Maxo, that was a big slide from him. Giancarlos down to the inside. Well, he didn't really commit to the maneuver, and I think he'll have to wait for DRS, and that's what he's probably aiming for here. Well, he's gone quite wide, exiting turn 9 then. That'll definitely be a track limits violation. Behind him, the Mercedes of Brian Mosser. I think he was caught out by surprise by the sudden start. I was certainly as well. either way, the Mercedes driver has gotten off to an absolutely poor start here, and again, deadlocked with Noganator on championship standings for now for the lead of the Drivers' Championship, so that's not one he'll need. Bit of a slide there for Suttle exiting the third corner. Peter DRH looking to try to take advantage, but he doesn't look within range just yet. Mandingos looking forward on Noganator here. 4/10 of a second, Soy Loco has gotten back at least a couple of tenths, but it doesn't look as if he's closing all that fast on Fuse at the top. It does look, however, once he has DRS, if he keeps it, he might be able to make up some further ground. It's teetering at about 8.5 to 9.5 tenths per second. Soy Loco here down through the final two corners. Well, he's gone quite wide through that. That one will hurt him, and he does not have DRS. He's used up the majority of his battery as well, and now not Gravity might have an ability to overtake him here. Mediotti, our Italian on the grid, has taken Brian Mosser's 13th position there. As here's not Gravity down to the inside. Well, it's going to be the outside, actually, up through the hill of turn 2 and in towards turn 3. Soy Loco, I thought, was going to defend that inside, but it looks here. A-Dub and Noganator side by side for the 4th spot. A-Dub still has the outside, and it looks like he's taking him carefully for now. It looks like Hammer's having difficulties in the pit lane, as, well, he'll sort himself out, but it looks like Mandingos side by side with Noganator now. That's a front wing missing for somebody. I'm not quite sure who. It is the AlphaTauri of Mandingos. He's lost the end plate on the left side. Well, we didn't initially see any contact there from the onboard. If we did, we would have had to have really been looking for it, because at the time it looked quite clean. But Mandingos has front wing damage on the left side, and that one is definitely going to be not helpful for him, because he was having a great start to this Grand Prix, and he will now, unfortunately, be falling quite far down the order. Gap to the top between Fuse and Gravity now out to 1.2 seconds, as Mandingos picks up 5 seconds for speeding into the pit lane. Bad to worse for him. Soy Loco on not Gravity here. DRS going up the hill. It looks like Brian Mosser on his way in. It looks like Alex has left the session. Noganator and A-Dub side by side up through turn 3. And it looks like Noganator has the outside. A-Dub definitely looks as if he had the better traction there, and he's gotten around the inside of the Noganator. He'll put himself up into the 4th spot. Reminder, he is still down 2 since the start. Biggest mover in the positive direction does happen to be that of Demo, who's up 9, as it looks like Suttle and Peter DRH side by side through turn 4. Beautiful side by side battling this between the Haas of Suttle and the Williams of Peter DRH now through turns 5, 6, and 7. Suttle's gone quite wide. He's taken the outside line through that corner, and that has certainly helped him with the traction, and he has gotten the spot and more. Looks like Peter might have a look at the outside here as they make their way through turns 9 and 10. Well, I tell you what, he certainly looks like the pace might be on here, as Noganator finding himself within 0.3 of a second on A-Dub again. Looks like Peter didn't have that good of a go through turn 10, and now Demo's going to look for the inside, and he may have it. And does Peter outbreak him on the inside? I think he does. Yeah, I tell you what, that looked pretty clean for me. Nicely done from Demo, as ahead Noganator getting around A-Dub this time before their way into turn 3, but Noganator's gone wide, and A-Dub will take the spot back and then get DRS just for insult of injury. Side by side here, Suttle, and to the outside was Demo, and it was 3 wide there for a minute. The Alpine of Demo's been pushed wide. Peter DRH has taken both spots. Some sort of conundrum happened there. I'm not quite sure what, but down to the inside looks Suttle, and it looks like once again he'll be side by side with Peter coming out of turn 4. Well, I'm not rightly sure what the conundrum was, as we have a Ferrari off up ahead, and it's Soy Loco who's gone around. We'll stick on the battle. Oh, that was big contact between Suttle and Peter, and Demo needs to take evasive action and goes into the gravel. Well, I'm not sure what was up with Suttle there. Maybe did he lose the car? Did he see the Ferrari that was off ahead? Well, the Ferrari has spun from position but stayed ahead of Suttle. So I'm going to assume perhaps did he rejoin the track? Perhaps did he do it unsafely there? Because Suttle has really had to react and swerve, which forced Peter to check up, and it's forced Demo off the track. But it looks like now Demo might be getting up the inside here in towards turn number 3 is ahead. It looks like Suttle might have a move on Soy Loco. They're going to make contact into the 3rd corner. Soy Loco gets pushed wide, and that is the 2nd time in 2 laps we've seen Noganator perhaps get together with another car through the 3rd corner. So that moves him into the 5th spot, but I'm not too sure. I'm not sure how clean those 2 maneuvers were. We definitely that time saw Peter and, not Peter, Suttle and Soy Loco get together then. I'm still wondering what happened between Suttle and Peter the lap before. But it's a moot point for now, as we have a yellow flag in the back, and it's Anto who's gone off there, and it looks like Maxo has gotten into him, and we do have ourselves a safety car here, the first of the day. And the Mercedes finds himself on the left side of the circuit. Well, an entertaining first few laps here, and it looks like the top 2 of both Fuse and Gravity, well, they were certainly already past the pit entry when the safety car came out. Maxo picks up 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane, and everybody in the second half of the grid on their way in. From Soy Loco on back, we do have ourselves taker of the pit lanes. Is Fuse Rogue able to hold on to the top spot? Whilst he decides to come in, I would assume this lap we've got 9 laps in. The assumption would be perhaps the hards to the end here, and that may not actually be the case. We've got Matt, Maxo, Brian Mosser, and Alvarado, who have all pit to fit the medium tires. Everyone else who came in, that being Soy Loco, Giancarlos, Mediotti, and Gab, they've all chosen the hards. Gravity decides to stay out. In comes the Williams of Fuse Rogue, mediums going on. Is this perhaps a call to the rain we might see at the end of the race? Noganators fit the softs. Well, that is a bold strategy there. Is the weather going to come sooner than expected? Because it certainly looks now, from the drivers putting on some soft compound tires here, as well as that of the, well, Peter's gone for the hards here. Are some drivers going to be playing the short game and expecting the rain to come sooner, or the drivers on the hards expecting to wait for the long run and maybe not being a safety car, and maybe waiting for the rain at the end of the Grand Prix? Well, we're going to let the safety car sort itself out here, but we now have a huge strategical dilemma on our hands. So the safety car will find its way in this lap. Just about a third of the way through this Grand Prix. Almost halfway in about 7 or 8 laps time. And we do have a Christmas tree of colors here regarding our tires. Now, not Gravity, one of the only drivers, in fact, I think the only driver, aside from Mandigo's here, to stay out under the safety car. Well, Mandigo's pit at some point, that's right, because he had the 5-second penalty. So not Gravity on the 10-lap old mediums, Fuse Rogue behind, fresh mediums, A-Dub fresh hards, Noganator fresh softs. One of only 2 to take the softs on the grid. His other is Demo back in P8, and now green flag back in the air here at the Red Bull Ring as the train of cars files its way up the hill in towards turn 1. Soy Loco had a little bit of a look at the inside of Suttle there going in towards turn 1. Didn't have anything with it. Here's Fuse Rogue. The outside he goes, trying to go up the hill in towards turn 3. Does he have it? To the inside is that of Gravity. A-Dub now looking to the inside. Gravity has held on to the top spot for now, but A-Dub really in pursuit here, and despite being on the hard tires, doesn't look like he's at any lack of pace. Down to the inside looks Fuse Rogue, once again taking the lead. A-Dub just riding along here in third for the time being behind Noganator on the fresh softs. Once again, quite the strategical dilemma we've had here. We know there is rain towards the tail end of the race for the most part. This medium section only looking about 15 to 20%. But that could still mean rain. You never know. To the inside now looks Noganator. We've got a conundrum towards the back. Looks like we had somebody go off. A-Dub down to the inside. He has the position on Gravity for now. He's taken way too much of the turn 10 curve there. Here's Noganator. He gets past Gravity. Does he get past A-Dub into the first corner as well? I think he might. And he does. only temporarily, as A-Dub goes back down to the bottom and has the spot. We might be looking at 3 abreast here into the third corner. There goes Mandy goes up the inside, and would you believe it? He just overtook 3 cars in the span of a straight, even without DRS. But now Noganator once again takes the second spot. What brilliant racing from the Division 3 grid here so far, as it looks as if, after all is said and done, Noganator takes the second spot on his fresh softs. A-Dub did very well to make his way in towards the top 3. He settles for third. Mandigos nearly overtook 3 cars there on that one stretch of track, but instead settles for fourth, and Not Gravity's been pushed down from the lead at the beginning of the safety car all the way down to fifth on his 12-lap-old medium tires. Up now is Demo on his fresh soft. Does he have anything for Subtle as they make their way through turn 9 and 10? I tell you what, it looks like Subtle's car very much might be struggling with understeer here. He's gone wide several times, a couple of which we've seen, resulting in close quarters with drivers at the top of the hill through turn 3 and even through turn 4. And there goes Subtle. 3 seconds time penalty for cutting the corner. Too much of the inside curve through turn 1. And now here comes Demo up the inside in his Alpine. Oh, he's way late brake there, and he's going to go straight off the track. I think he's only just going to lose it back to Subtle, unless does Peter have a say in this as well. He might get that spot. Demo really sends it up the inside, and I'm afraid he's just gone too far off track. Here's Brian Mosser around the left side of John Carlos. Remember, Brian Mosser had very much had a start to forget, and he now finds himself up into the top 10. Check back with him in a minute. A-Dub within half a second of Noganator here. Mind you, look at the sky. Those clouds certainly getting more gray than they were not long ago. We had blue skies once the safety car came in, and that was on lap 11 on to lap 12. So a mere couple of laps later, and we are looking a very cloudy day here at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria. DRS for A-Dub. Does he have anything to get to Noganator here? I'm quite curious to see when the softs will start to fall off, and the hard tires will take kind of precedence here. Demo has gone up the inside of Subtle and takes the 6th spot as they make their way in towards turn 3. And now he's got Not Gravity in the Aston Martin, but here's A-Dub down to the inside on Noganator, and he'll have that spot even before they get into turn 4. Looks like Gab is overtaken. It looks like Alvarado falling back here. He's just lost spots to, I believe, Hammer, Maxo, and Gab for that matter. So I'm wondering, did something happen? It looks like Demo has gotten around Gravity here through turn 6, 7, and 8. Quite an unorthodox place to see a move be made, but that was a brilliant one there from the Alpine. 0.2 of a second separate Noganator and A-Dub here for the second spot. Noganator looks to the inside. Soft tires on hard tires. Who gets the better traction? And it looks like Noganator might have the spot for now. A-Dub still in pursuit. Doesn't look like he'll have DRS. No, he doesn't. Slightly odd, neither of those drivers were able to take DRS. It looks like Subtle within a couple attempts here of Demo. Looks like Gravity and Alvarado in the pits. Alvarado looks to be, I believe, serving his 5 seconds. A-Dub was within a 10th there of Noganator for the time being, but nothing came of it. Looks like Gab and Hammer side by side through turn 4. But at the moment, it's still A-Dub here battling the Noganator for the second spot, and it has to be said, the sky getting eerily gray. We may see the rain sooner rather than later, as I believe this next time by, that'll put ourselves halfway through Grand Prix distance here. A-Dub really looking to get past Noganator here. Noganator tried to break the toe and exiting turn 1. Up the hill through turn 2 and in towards turn 3. Does A-Dub have a go? Does he have enough track to pull off down the inside? No, he doesn't. Although a better exit here for A-Dub, arguably. Noganator using his recharger head. A-Dub's going to look down to the inside, and with the aid of DRS, I believe that one's going to come quite easily for A-Dub. And he will once again take that second spot, but down to the inside looks Noganator. And I tell you what, Noganator made some contact there with the right rear tire. That one got very close to being dangerous then. Looks like Mediati and Jean Carlos battling it out here. They're on... Something's happened with Mediati. He was quite slow there going through turn 4. Well, he was battling with quite closely with Jean Carlos there momentarily. Once again with Noganator and A-Dub here for the battle for the second spot. Oh, A-Dub's pulled off to the inside. I don't think he's had the best exit there. The pit symbol on the bottom of Noganator's screen on his, what do you call it there, of his MFD is lit up. Does that mean he's going to be coming in one of these next time by? Well, up the inside goes Noganator, and A-Dub's going to outbrake him on the outside, and he's going to hold the spots. Very nicely done maneuver there. Hammer's picked up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Looks like a little bit further back we do have Jean Carlos battling with Mediati to stay within the top 10 here. To the inside looks Jean Carlos. Maybe he's gotten a little too generous on the throttle there. He's slid a little bit down to the inside. Gab to the outside here. He's got Mediati in front of him. This will be a close one. Mediati's going to slide off the track. Oh, and he turns right into Gab. And I'm not sure what happened with Mediati there. Well, he was very much going off track through turn 4, and then he either overcorrected it or had some wheel spin, and that has resulted in a collision there. With Jean Carlos, does he have front wing left? Well, it does look as if Jean Carlos still has the majority of his front wing. In fact, it all looks like it's still there, so I think he's gotten maybe a bit lucky then, as we do now have, that is the Alpine once more of Mediati. He's had a little spin going through turn 7. He's missing the left front end plate on the side of that car. Looks like Not Gravity going up the inside of Soy Loco then. Good looking move, as Not Gravity will now have to defend from Soy Loco. Up the hill in towards turn 3, and the virtual safety car on track. Well, I'm not entirely sure what's caused that virtual safety car. Do we have debris somewhere on the circuit? I'm not entirely sure. Seems slightly random in my opinion. As Mediati onto the full wets. I don't know if that's some sort of mistake or that was planned. But the Italian has fit the full wets here. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure that one was planned. Has yet to rain a drop here in Spielberg. Tell you what, does look a lot like the old-time F1 cars there. Oh, we are having cars come in now. Well, this is interesting. What's that going on? Those are hards for subtle. Los Mandigos serving his 5-second time penalty, putting on mediums. DRS back enabled here. A lot of cars pitting onto the virtual safety car. This is surely going to mix up the order. Brian Mosser, after the poor start to the day he had, currently finds himself back within the top 5. And now might be starting to... Oh, and is that Mediati that's gone by? Yes, it is. Down to the inside looks Brian Mosser on Peter DRH to move himself into 4th. And what a maneuver for Brian Mosser, doing very well to right the wrongs that he had on the spot. Meanwhile, look at Demo up 14 positions. Brian Mosser now up 4. By the way, Noganator was the... we have a yellow flag. Oh, Jean Carlos has gone off, and that is exiting turn 4 in towards turn 5, and that is a very, very unsafe place for that car to come to rest, and the safety car rightfully is out here. Well, the Alfa Romeo of Jean Carlos, unfortunately, has decided to go for the spin cycle and comes to rest on the inside of turn 5. Safety car on track, and now yet another strategical dilemma comes to play. Remember, we were looking at rain past the hour mark. I don't think we're there yet, but it definitely looks like it could start raining any minute. So, we got a few drivers pitting here. nobody yet has made the preemptive decision to go on to intermediates. So that tells me we are still quite far out from the rain. Alvarado's picked up 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. And Fuse Rogue, what does he decide to do? Remember, I believe he's on 11 lap old mediums. Yes, he is. Fuse Rogue on his way in. Oh, please make it down to speed in time. Oh, barely he did. A-Dub, I think, will be coming in as well. Yes, he is. Brian Mosser, does he follow? Brian Mosser, 12 lap old mediums. Noganator behind fresh mediums. Brian Mosser will come in. Fuse hits for softs. A-Dub for mediums here. Los Mandigos drive through for speeding out of the safety car. A-Dub to mediums. Brian Mosser to mediums as well. So, once again, as it looks like Subtle, is he going to stay ahead of Brian Mosser here? Yes, he is. So, once again, we're going to step aside and let the safety car sort itself out. We might have one hell of an end to a Grand Prix in store. So the safety car will find its way in this lap. Just over 10 laps to go here. Here's a look at your penalties really quick. Subtle has a 3-second. Los Mandigos is a drive-through. Speeding under the safety car. Hammer at 6. Gravity, Maxo, and Gab all at 3. As far as tires, Fuse on the softs. 2-lap-old soft tires. Naturally, he would have stopped just now. A-Dub on the fresh mediums as well. Noganator pit before the safety car. Promotes himself up into third 4-lap-old mediums for him. Demo, who's had an outstanding day, 3-lap-old mediums. Subtle and Brian Moss are both on hards. The rest of the grid, aside from Gab and Mediotti, also on the soft tires. Very interesting strategy games we've had here today. And reminder, there is still the potential of rain in the area. Green flag once more here at the Red Bull Ring. It looks like Fuse is going to have this one easily in towards the first corner. Brian Mosser might be having a move at Subtle behind them. It looks as if we had a close one there between Hammer and Soy Loco time being. Maxo's picked up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Oh, my headphones are going staticky now. A-Dub's been on the cusp of this lead all day. Just hasn't found the ability. Oh, and it looks like, what has happened with Maxo here? Well, he's gone quite wide. And he's been given 5 seconds for exceeding track limits as well, which is slightly odd. So that'll put him up to 11 seconds. It looks like Subtle getting around Brian Mosser. Hammer side by side with, I believe, the blue-flagged Alpine of Mediotti. Yes, he is. He's been 5-second penaltied for ignoring the blue flags as well. Brian Mosser within 2/10 of Subtle here for the 5th spot. Remember, Subtle has a penalty. Brian Mosser needs all the points he can get. Noganator, his championship rival at the moment, has had a much better day, and it looks as if, for now, oh, Los Mandigos, that's him serving his drive-through. It looks like Brian, despite being able to claw his way back up 2 positions after it's all said and done for now, I think he would be quite disappointed with the result here today. But here he goes up the inside for Subtle. He'll have the outside through turn 3, as behind him a whole lot of positions being exchanged there. It looks like maybe some contact between Brian and Subtle, but for the most part he's gotten around him. 3/10 of a second between Demo and Noganator for the 3rd spot. Remember, Demo had the qualifying ban at the start, pressing X2 early last week. Started dead last P17. He is up to 13th. It's been a wonderful day for the Alpine driver, and let's see if he can scratch together a podium, because if then, I tell you what, wouldn't be too much complaining done on his part. Tell you what, I've never seen this Demo guy before, but the fact that he's stayed out of trouble for the most part, knock on wood, and he's up 13 positions, and he may be getting another one here over Noganator shortly. Tells me this might be a driver to keep an eye on as they head up the hill through turn 1. Soy Loco has gotten past Subtle with DRS. Looks like the Ferrari of Maxo is on his way in. 2/10 of a second here, and closing between Demo and Noganator. Demo's going to look up the inside. Oh, he nearly made contact with the McLaren there, but they're side by side through the 3rd corner. And it looks like Demo's going to have the inside. Does he have the better traction? The answer is maybe. Side by side they go, coming out of the 3rd corner in towards turn 4. And Demo does have the position, although Bit of frame rate loss there, resulted in ghosting in a potentially missed collision. As it looks like the retired car of Maxo, you know, he's leaving the session. He has ended up retiring. We do still have the yellow flag, and we do have the Red Bull of Hammer who's gone around. Exiting turn number 4, looks like he's taking a trip through the gravel. No safety car or virtual safety car looks to be needed. Although I'll be honest, I'm not getting the best shot of his front wing here. He's hit the gravel again, so maybe as he lost the front wing. That part I would have to assume maybe he has. Peter's picked up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Not ideal for him. Noganator, does he try to claw back at Demo here? Not exactly getting back that much time, although he is closing, and wow, he is closing quite quickly now. Looks to the outside, Soy Loco getting down the inside of Brian Mosser. Wouldn't it be something if Brian Mosser and Noganator end up battling it out at the end of the Grand Prix here? Oh, that looks like blue skies up ahead. Brian Mosser now to get around Soy Loco. Oh, Soy Loco did good defending there, as Gravity side by side with Subtle on his inside through turn 4, and it does look as if Gravity has the position for now. No penalties within the top 6, it's strictly battling for position. Everywhere else, it does look like battling for position as well, minus that. Well, actually, yeah, they're all on 3 seconds, so it makes sense. We do have the Alpine, I believe, of Mediotti at the back. He's taking a spin through the inside grass, going through turn 6. So Noganator still trying to find position here. Oh, and it looks like, is that Mandigos who's gone off? No, it's actually his teammate of Alvarado, and it looks like he's gotten together with Hammer, and the virtual safety car is out on track for the debris. Well, I'm not rightly sure what happened there. We knew that Hammer had perhaps wing damage beforehand, but it looks like Alvarado may have spun. And look at, oh, he's hit Peter going into the pit lane. I'm not rightly sure what's happened there between those two. But Alvarado is running the back of Peter as they're on their way into the pit lane. This will neutralize the field. Remember, they are to reduce speed. I believe it's either by 60% or 40%. I'm not rightly sure which. Either one. Back to green flag here. Noganator did his best to get back up to it. Oh, Soy Loco is spun, and Soy Loco is in the Armco barrier, minus a front wing. What has happened there? Has Soy Loco been caught sleeping on the restart then, and has somebody plowed into the back of the Ferrari? That might be my guess, or has he gotten too generous on the throttle and binned it himself? And after starting on pole position, he finds himself down in P10, minus now a front wing. And that, not the best way to cap off a day for the Ferrari of Soy Loco. Not Gravity now doing his best to fight off Brian Mosser. It looks ahead. Noganator's got the inside on Demo. And yeah, he's had that one even before the corner comes up, but Demo has the inside, and he'll have DRS as well. Noganator doing well to defend, but Demo doing well to put on the pressure. 10th of the second and closing. Demo out, breaks Noganator into the 4th corner. Does he have it? Still side by side. Looks like Brian Mosser and Gravity also side by side. Remember, big championship implications at play. Noganator has the inside. Demo takes him around the outside through turn 6. Brilliant stuff then. And it looks like Brian Mosser's been able to fend off not Gravity. And now, I believe it is just I need to look at the point structure here. Between positions 4 and 5, it is a 2-point gap. Noganator, if the result holds, will have a 2-point gap for the championship lead on Brian Mosser. Brian's got 3.5 seconds to try to close the gap, and Noganator battling here with Demo, probably helping Brian's case as not. Oh, and what in the hell was that? Noganator has gone clean into the back of Demo, and the Alpine, who was having an unbelievable day, has been absolutely spun out of position then. Well, thankfully for Demo's sake, he hasn't hit anything. But goodness me, if Noganator doesn't pick up a 5-second for that or more. Because realistically, I'm not rightly sure why that's even happened. It didn't look at it as if Demo had made any sort of egregious maneuver off the racing line. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm really not sure. The stewards might have fun with that one later. Because that one looked a lot more suspicious than it needed to. And Demo sure to have damage on the rear wing now. That'll hurt his downforce. Definite shout for the podium Demo had here, and I'm afraid it's all been thrown away for him. Well, here comes Not Gravity looking to the inside of Brian Mosser here. We have a yellow flag, and it's the Alpha Tauri, I believe it's, yeah, it is Alvarado. He spun it going out of turn 5. And it looks like Gravity was able to take the spot, although does have a 3-second penalty. Brian Mosser looks down to the inside. Brian Mosser doesn't know it, but I think Noganator's going to have a penalty coming to him here, so Brian Mosser just needs to, he really just needs to play it safe. So, gap from Noganator back to Brian Mosser, under 4 seconds. And a yellow flag, and it looks like Alvarado has spun it out of turn 1, with the laps winding down here. Does Demo have any wing damage? The answer is no, none that's visible. To the rear wing, well, obviously I would assume there's some damage there from the shunts that did occur between Noganator and him. A little bit of scrape maybe there on the side pod, not quite sure. Gonna have 3 laps to go next time by for Fuse Rogue, who's currently getting past the back marker then of Alvarado. 3 DNFs today, including Anso in the Mercedes, Jean Carlos in the Alfa Romeo, and Maxo in the Ferrari. For the time being, it has quite settled down here in the rain. Does, at the end of the day, look like it's going to hold off. Fuse Rogue has done a good one here today, and he's got just 3 laps to go before he wins one here in Austria. A-Dub's had himself a good day as well. Shame that he couldn't have put up a bigger fight for the lead, but Fuse Rogue, realistically, I don't want to say he's been in a league of his own, but get him into clean air, and he is definitely going to start pulling away from the pack here. Not Gravity, our most recent race winner. P4, but with penalties will probably drop at least a spot here. Brian Mosser, remember, won week 2 in China. A-Dub, our initial race winner this season, currently 2nd. But it looks here, Fuse Rogue. Oh, and Gab is retired! And that, well, I think we're too far gone for a safety car here. But I think maybe 5-10 laps earlier, and that would have absolutely been a safety car, as that car was binned on the inside of turn 2. Los Manigos is going to go past the scene of the crime here, and it was about there at the marshal post in which he had lost the car. Well, that is suddenly throwing something in the mix. Oh, well, this is interesting. Brian Mosser, I'm just looking at the Discord now, saying that Brian Mosser has readied up early. We could be looking at, well, it'll be a qualifying ban next week if that's the case. But that would have been something. Reminder, Noganator might be looking at a penalty here for the incident with Demo. Who, I think Demo might still be taking driver of the day. Yes, he will, up 11 positions. But with just the final lap to go here, Fuse Rogue on his way. I don't think we've actually had a repeat winner so far this season. The answer is no. 6 different winner in 6 rounds for Division 3 here if Fuse Rogue's able to hold on. Looks like Gravity might be able to put the move on Noganator here. Oh, and by the way, Brian Mosser now in this battle too. I don't think Brian Mosser's close enough to make anything happen unless these two get into a conundrum ahead. Subtle picks up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, as it looks like Gravity. Remember, Gravity's got the 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Noganator might have a 5-second coming his way for the incident with him and Demo. Well, here's Gravity down to the inside. It looks like the Alpine of Mediati's gone off. Gravity has it round the outside for now. No contact being made there. Looks all clean ahead. But it has to be said, as Gravity did end up overtaking Noganator then. Fuse Rogue coming through the final couple of corners. The 6th different winner in 6 rounds of Division 3 this season. It is the Williams of Fuse Rogue taking home the victory today in Austria in what has been a dominant performance. A-Dub will round the line next to finish 2nd. He has put together himself a pretty solid performance here. Not Gravity, with the penalty, will be relegated down to at least 5th. As Noganator takes 3rd, pending penalties. Brian Mosser in 4th. A reminder, these two drivers separated by no points at all coming into today. And it finishes 3rd and 4th for the time being. Demo, great result from him despite the podium that was taken away from him, as he's come home to finish 6th and surely driver of the day as well. But it is the Williams of Fuse Rogue putting together the performance here, and crosses the line ahead of A-Dub by just under 9.5 seconds. So after it's all said and done, pending any penalties, it is Fuse Rogue taking the win and the fastest lap from 3rd on the grid. A-Dub in 2nd, Noganator 3rd, 4th Brian Mosser, 5th Not Gravity, 6th is Demo and driver of the day for him, rightfully so. Subtle in 7th, 8th is Peter, 9th is Manigos, 10th Soy Loco, 11th Hammer, 12th is Alvarado, 13th Mediati, 14th is Gab, although I don't think he actually managed to finish the Grand Prix. Maxo, Giancarlos, and Anto did not finish today's Grand Prix, and what a great Grand Prix it was today for Division 3. And next week, we head to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, now minus the chicane, for round 7 of this 10th season of Midwest F1. Hotspot's been a pleasure being on the call this week, and we'll see you next time.